Your son, while there's no ties to you, could be charged by your Department of Justice. How will that impact your presidency?
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him. And it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
President Biden maintains his stance when it comes to his son, even as more evidence of possible corruption and a string of other charges could be heading Hunter's way. This comes as the House Oversight Committee, led by Congressman James Comer, issued a subpoena for an FBI file, which a whistleblower said actually links President Biden to a criminal scheme. Just where do things stand when it comes to our national security in this Biden White House? Joining me now is senior national security analyst and former acting director of national intelligence, Ric Grenell. Ric, great to see you, and we appreciate you being here. I want to start by getting your reaction to, again, this bombshell news that we received on Capitol Hill this week. We have Comer formally issuing the subpoena, working with Republican Senator Chuck Grassley's office, who's been investigating the Biden family. And here we actually have something that directly ties the president to a bribery scheme involving a foreign national. How significant is this?
Well, look, I think that we should have been looking at the Hunter Biden laptop a long time ago. As you know, 51 former intelligence officials said, don't look at that laptop, look over there at Russia. And Beijing was applauding then. So I think that there's been smoke for quite a long time. Now, with this new revelation of a document that exists, I think that the Department of Justice and the FBI have an obligation to come forward and tell us, because remember, they've held this laptop for a very long time, and they have not been able to act on it. And so I think the American people deserve to see it, deserve to know if the Biden family is tied to criminal activity around the world. We've seen a lot of smoke, and it's troubling because every single time that Joe Biden or the Joe Biden campaign or the Joe Biden administration gets into some sort of sticky situation with China, they come up with the same excuse, which is look over there at Russia. And that is the Beijing line. That is what Beijing wants Americans to do, is to not look very deep at the ties between really the Uniparty and the Communist Party in China.
How likely is it that this document is going to be handed over by the FBI? This is an unclassified FD 1023 document, but then you also have the scenario in which the White House could classify it. So will we see it?
That remains to be seen. I'm not very hopeful that we'll see it because the bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. likes to hide things. They're not transparent. They pretend like it's national security. And we've seen that cover up through the overclassification of documents for a very long time. But, you know, I think that what we really need to do is pressure the Republicans in Congress who were elected on the House side to start uncovering some of these problems, to be transparent. Transparency is not political, it's not partisan. It's what the American people demand who are, you know, outside of Washington, D.C. The system in Washington is not for transparency. They like the power that they have. They like to be able to keep that power silent and use it when appropriate. So there's no incentive for the bureaucracy to open up and come clean with the American people about what's happening. So we need to rely on the House Republicans to demand that this is happening. Also, Senate Republicans, even though they're in the minority, can do a lot of work here. They can demand transparency.
Yeah, and this is certainly something that Republican Senator Chuck Grassley said. He said this is about federal agencies and their honesty. He's focused a lot on how they've opened and closed various cases and how the FBI has been politically motivated in some of those efforts. I want to turn now to the southern border. Next week, we know the U.S. is going to see the Trump-era Title 42 plan come to an end. That's going to end on Thursday. We're expecting perhaps around 13,000 migrant encounters. There's already 10,000 migrants estimated to be waiting in Mexico to cross. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was down there over the last couple days trying to sort out a plan with CBP and ICE officials. Interesting that Congress has been blamed for the fact that immigration laws have not been reformed over the last decade. Does Congress bear some responsibility here? Because even up until the 11th hour, there have been bipartisan senators that have been working to try to extend this, because even Democrats and Republicans agree that there are not enough resources down there.
Look, before I talk about the border, I just want to say one thing about Senator Grassley. He's been very good on these issues, and we owe him a debt of gratitude. He and Senator Johnson have been really pushing hard and been mocked for their push and their strategy to be transparent. When it comes to the border, Kilmeade, I think actually that the blame is totally with Joe Biden. They've spent 2.5 years in this administration allowing this chaos at the border. Congress certainly has an oversight responsibility. Congress certainly can play a role, but Congress's role is to push the administration to do the right thing. They are trying to use the leverage that they have. If the question is, can Congress use more leverage to try to get Joe Biden and his administration to do more? Certainly, that answer is yes. But this squarely is about Joe Biden's administration. You know, the Democrats came up with this concept of sanctuary cities, this name that sounds so great. But really, what sanctuary cities are is an attack on the rule of law. It's a place where you get to break federal immigration laws and not have any consequences for breaking those laws, because cities and states protect you. They protect the lawbreaker. That's been happening for a very long time. The Democrats, every time they wag their finger at anyone talking about the rule of law, we should throw back in their faces the fact that they invented sanctuary cities, places where you get to break the law for free without consequence.
Ric Grenell, we have to leave it there. Great to see you. Thanks for being a part of the conversation.
Thank you.